I'm Jonathan Gerwitz, Vice President of KGB Texas Communications, and welcome to thePoint, a series that focuses on the issues that move our community. Today we're visiting with Russ Handy, Director of Aviation for the City of San Antonio. Welcome, Russ.
Thank you, Jonathan. Glad to be here.
And let's get right to the point. The airport's been racking up some great numbers lately. Let's talk about passenger count first. How many consecutive months of passenger growth?
21 months, and we hit nearly 9.1 million total passengers in 2017. That's a growth of over 5%. We put together a 5-year air service development plan where we planned on about 3% of growth per year in capacity, which is a pretty healthy growth, and we've achieved 13% in just 2 years alone.
That's great. In March, you had a record month. That was certainly the Final Four played a role in that. Tell us about those numbers.
It sure did. So 850,000 people traveled through San Antonio International in March. It's the second highest growth month of the year. If you add on the first few days in April where the people were departing from Final Four, it's nearly 1 million.
Well, you've had a lot of changes at the airport over the last 6 months. Let's talk about some of those changes, beginning with the consolidated rental car facility. Tell us about the Conrack and some of the innovative features that visitors will find there.
Now, we're really excited to get the Conrack open. If you rewind, just a few short months ago, renting a car here was a bit of a painful experience. You had to get in a shuttle bus and go out to one of the satellite locations on the airport campus, haul your bags on and off the bus, and now it's a really pleasant experience. You rent your car right across a short sky bridge. When you return the car, you park it in the garage. The rental car folks take that car and service it right on site at the quick turn facility right next to the garage, all part of one large facility. You take your bag and you walk across the sky bridge. In about 3 minutes you're at the ticket counter or walking to the gate. So we're really excited about it. And not just because it's a really great customer experience for car rental, it is, but it's also an incredible reflection of our community and our art and culture. If you walk into the lobby of the Conrack, there's a full width, a couple 100 feet wide mural that captures 300 years of San Antonio history. Susie Gonzalez, Michael Machaca, 2 local artists competed for the honor of putting that piece together, and it's fantastic. You mentioned the garage as well. So underneath the rental car facility, the first 2 levels is a brand new short-term parking garage, which we're really happy to have that back. We didn't have that short-term parking for quite some time, and it's a wonderful experience as well. Another walkway. This one's underground, so you never have to cross the street, a busy street. So it enhances safety, and we've also tried to integrate the latest in technology. So when you come into that short-term parking garage now, there's a park assist feature which tells you exactly how many spots are in the garage, on what level, on what row, and then when you look down that row, you can look up and look at an indicator to tell you where those open spots are. So you find your parking spot very quickly, and you're about a 2-minute walk from the terminal.
San Antonio International Airport now has 45 nonstops to domestic and international destinations. You've added a number of new nonstops recently. Tell us about some of those.
We have a number. In fact, as I said, over the past 2 years, we've grown capacity by 13%. We were excited to welcome a couple of new airlines, both Air Canada and Frontier, over the past couple of years. Air Canada started nonstop service to Toronto on 1 May, and that's getting very good performance from both business and leisure travel. We're about to get our 5th nonstop destination into Mexico in late June, with Interjet going to León, Bajío, a very, very rapidly growing area, exciting connections between San Antonio and that region. Number of other spots. Fort Lauderdale will be added in July. Fort Lauderdale is a great place to just connect to South Florida, or it's very much a gateway into Latin America. Similarly, Philadelphia, American Airlines added Philadelphia service starting in July as well. And that service will provide a great business and leisure link, but it's also a huge European gateway for that airline. And Oakland was another great example. We needed more service to the Bay Area. Our tech industry is very receptive on that flight. And just 5 examples, a number of other wonderful air service opportunities, and we feel much more to come.
One of the nonstop flights that we don't have due to some arcane rules that San Antonio has been trying to get is a nonstop flight between San Antonio and Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. The most recent effort by the city to secure that flight died in Congress last month. What are the options? What's the future of trying to secure the nonstop flight into Washington National from Military City, USA?
Right. So that has been a challenge. We have existing today a huge demand signal for a nonstop into Reagan National, and as you say, there is legislation that prevents an airline from doing that, even if it's a very smart market decision, which it is, and we have airline partners who have, demonstrated a willingness to support that if the law would allow. And so we've been working with our elected representatives, and they've been aggressively trying to get an amendment to what's called the FAA reauthorization bill, which is being negotiated now. We did have a disappointing opportunity with the House and failed to get that amendment in their part of the bill, but we're not giving up. The Senate now will bring that bill to the conference and to the floor, and so we're going to continue to work with our elected representatives. It's a really strong case. Unfortunately, as you identified, it is kind of an outdated rule based on some old market conditions, but there are some forces that are fighting it for their own, economic reasons. And in this case, there was a lot of misinformation and inaccuracies that were portrayed to Congress that complicated things. So really, we're going to focus on the truth, focus on a data-driven decision to allow an airline to make a smart market decision.
We're about to enter the summer travel season. What do San Antonians need to know about traveling from San Antonio International Airport, or about picking up friends and family who are visiting San Antonio?
Well, the first thing you need to know is it's a whole lot better now than it was last summer, because a lot of our construction is over. We've widened a number of our roadways and restriped 100% new signs that are all industry standard and consistent to get you where you need to go with the minimal confusion. But I do recommend you check our airport website to familiarize yourself with the ConRack, with the parking garage, whatever facilities you may be using. The airline websites or calling your airline is also a wonderful idea. I always recommend checking on your flight at the last minute to ensure you don't make a trip that's unnecessary or early if there's an issue with your flight, especially if the weather's bad, which sometimes we get some thunderstorms in the summertime. TSA.gov is a great resource if you're not a frequent traveler, and they'll talk to you about the kinds of things you need to do to be ready to get through security very quickly. And then finally, I'd just say show up early, and if you have a few extra minutes, take a look around. Your airport is changing, and we are capturing more and more of the art and culture and history of the region right here in San Antonio International.
In October, Mayor Ron Nirenberg appointed a panel led by John Dixon to make recommendations about the future of San Antonio International Airport. The airport has an ongoing process to review its strategic plan. That's an internal process. Where are those efforts going, and what kinds of issues are being discussed?
So it's an exciting time to be here. You've heard a lot of discussion, both in the media and otherwise, about the future of the airport. Is this airport big enough? Do we need something else? What is the growth going to look like in the region? Our mission is to be a driver of economic prosperity for the region, not wait for the development to happen, but a driver of prosperity and get in front of that and encourage more prosperity and economic development. And so to do that, it's important that we plan. And so our last strategic planning effort was in 2010. We took on a number of projects out of that were wonderfully successful. The ConRack was one of those. And then there were a number of other things that were altered by conditions. A lot has changed in the industry since 2010. So as you mentioned, we do need to have an updated strategic plan, and we've partnered with a global firm called WSP, who's formed a joint venture to help us with that plan. They are experts at airport planning, have done it all over the world for a number of airports of a variety of size. And the good news about the timing of it is, as you mentioned, the mayor's committee of 21 senior executives from across a diverse population of industry and travel and tourism in the region are charged with the mayor to examine the data associated with what the growth of this region is and will be in the future. So from 20 to as far as 50 years out, analyze that data and then bring a set of recommendations to the community on where they believe the community should go. Answer those questions about, will it fit? We know we're growing. We know we need more capacity in this airport. The question is, Not a matter of if, but when, where, and how big. And those are the kinds of questions this committee will ask. And the beauty of the timing is WSP will be the engine behind that committee. They'll be providing the rich data and the analytics that these committee members need for John and that team to bring recommendations forward.
Thank you, Russ Handy, and thank you for joining us on The Point.